Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our first new member webinar, NJBIA 101. I'm Peter Peretzman, Chief Communications Officer for the New Jersey Business and Industry Association. With us today are Mike Corwin, Director of Membership Development, and Kate Conroy, Director of Member Services and Programs, and they will tell you everything you need to know about NJBIA and also how to get the most out of your membership. A few housekeeping matters before we get started. Today's webinar is being recorded and will be emailed to you automatically in the next day or so. Also, we will be emailing you the slides for today's presentation in a separate email, so be on the lookout for those. If you'd prefer to download them now, please see the PDF link toward the lower right-hand section of your screen. You may download them, print them out, and refer to them throughout the webinar. Lastly, after Mike and Kate complete the presentation, we will be taking all of your questions, so write them down and be ready. So now, let's get things started. A little about NJBIA. We are more than 100 years old, and if you don't know, we are the largest statewide employer association with about 20,000 members. We employ 1.2 million New Jersey residents, so when we are working on your behalf as members of the association and owners of your businesses, we are also working on behalf of your employees to ensure that you have the services you need, that we can help you whenever it's appropriate, and also that government enacts policies that are both to your benefit and the benefit of your employees. We represent nearly every industry in New Jersey, from the service industry, construction industry, pharmaceutical industry, you name it, and we represent them. And we also represent many, many different size businesses. We are largely a small business organization with more than 80% of our members having 1 to 24 employees, but we also represent some of the biggest companies in the state, such as AT&T, Verizon, and companies like that. So we represent all of your interests, and we try to do the best we can given the great diversity in our membership. Our new president, Michelle Sakurka, has been with us for about a year, which is amazing. When you look at how time has flown, Michelle began with us in the early part of last October. We are coming up on a year, and Michelle has been very, very energetic in her goals and aspirations for NJBIA. That energy has led her to travel around the state for the better part of the last year, meeting with members, meeting with everyone she could possibly meet with that would inform our ability to provide you with the best association experience you could have, the best member services, and really to provide you with everything you need to be as successful as you can be. And that has led to a new vision for the association, which you could see on your screen, and basically really reframes our commitment to you. Our state is the home of economic vitality. It is a very successful state economically. It's a great place to live. It's a great place to do business. It is our job to help smooth out the bumps for you as best we can, but we have a great transportation system, education system, and so forth. If we didn't, you would not be locating your business here. So that's one of the fundamentals of New Jersey. Of course, we are also working for you so you can be as prosperous as possible, and also we are working to ensure that that you have access to the best, most well-trained and highly effective employees that you can. So we have a great effort here to ensure your employees, before you hire them, have employability skills, and also to ensure that the workforce that you have access to are trained in the right way to fill the positions that you have. And again, we want you to grow, and we want you to be as successful as possible, which feeds into our new mission, which again is a byproduct of talking to as many members as possible. As you can see, just some of the things we do at a 50,000-foot level, the delivery of essential information and services, We have been working tirelessly for a competitive business climate because of the taxes and mandates and the high levels of each in New Jersey. That's not always the easiest thing, but that's one of our chief goals. And an important part of that is both locally and globally. So we recognize that when we work on your behalf, we are working largely with local issues, but we also want to foster a state economic climate that allows us to be competitive on a global basis. And the last bullet there is the partnership aspect, because we don't all operate in silos, and as we have long realized, and we haven't always worked toward this end, that that everything in New Jersey, and really everywhere, but specifically in New Jersey, as far as you're concerned, is interconnected. So there is a great and close relationship between business, which we represent, also government, which we create relationships with to provide you with a better climate, and also academia, particularly in the workforce development and employability skills area. We have a great number of partnerships with our colleges and universities to provide the programs that allow you to employ a highly trained workforce. So now I would like to, after giving you the 50,000 foot on NJBIA, I would like to throw it over to Mike Corwin, who's going to give you a little bit of information about some new and exciting programs that we are in the process of implementing. Mike?
Thank you. As Peter shared, the vast majority of NJBIA members are small businesses, much like you, I'm sure, are. You compete in a very complex and ever-changing marketplace with so many demands on you. The number one demand is probably your time. A larger company has plenty of staff to allocate to handle many issues that you probably do not have. So where can you turn? We're hoping you'll turn to us, NJBIA. That's one of the reasons we're launching what we call the Member Action Center. Here is one location where you'll find a host of information and member benefit services for you, essentially a one-stop shop. One of the highlights will be a hotline for you to call, and you'll get a response back within 24 hours if assistance cannot be taken care of right away. We have an extensive amount of information and knowledge on staff with government contacts, legal and business resources, and an array of information and member benefit programs. And our goal is to save you time and money and make your business as competitive as possible. Moving forward, looking at a few examples of what the Member Action Center will look like. Again, we're launching this. This is a work in process. But for example, Human Resources Center. Let's say you have a question about some human resource issue, perhaps paid family leave, accommodation for an employee with a disability, or maybe an issue with workplace harassment. Pick up the phone, call NJBIA. We'll answer your question or connect you with the right resource for assistance if we can't answer that for you directly. And this will expand beyond HR to include other areas as well, and you'll see that grow as time goes on. One of the more major developments we're going to be launching next year, early in next year, 2016, is what we call the Business Directory. This will allow you to have a listing in our directory, like every other member, where you can showcase what you do, as well as provide specials or any opportunities you want to reach out to other members with what you provide. At the same token, other members will be in there, will be able to find you. So we're hoping this will give you great business development opportunities, not only enough to, as well as not enough, which will generate revenue for you, which will cover, or even more than cover your dues, but as well as also a resource for you to contact other members for support, assistance, or ideas. So across the board, it's going to be business development and also a resource, a member-to-member resource for you as well. And again, our goal always is to have timely assistance for you. Let's take a look at a few of our money-saving opportunities that we offer. First and foremost is the NJM Insurance. I'm sure many of you probably joined primarily, first and foremost, for NJM Insurance. You know, they offer commercial, which is vehicle and workers' compensation coverage, as well as personal, which is auto and homeowners insurance. As you probably know, personal eligibility extends to you and all of your paid employees. And a significant fact on this is NJM will share that drivers with NJM personal auto insurance save an average of 20% when you factor in the annual dividend provided by NGM every year since 1918. In fact, since 1918, NGM has paid out more than $5.6 billion in dividends to its policyholders. Constellation is our preferred energy provider. This will give you opportunities to better manage your energy costs, and we have many benefits of this partnership, including flexible purchase options, knowledgeable dedicated energy representatives, customized energy plans, and user-friendly online energy management tools. Our next benefit is the UPS shipping program. In fact, more than 1,500 members are signed up and participate in the program, making it probably our second most popular program since after NJM. You can save up to 36%. Save up to 36% on your overnight shipping. But there's also a dashboard which will allow you to calculate the savings for whatever method you choose, and we find this a very valuable service. There's no fee to sign up, no minimum usage, and a dedicated 100 number for NJBIA members to call. We also offer freight shipping. If you have any needs for shipping over 150 pounds, with UPS Carrier, you'll get at least 75% savings, again, on freight shipping. Going forward, just a couple more. We have an office program with Office Max, which is an online program on office products. Right now it's online because Office Max is in the process of being acquired by Staples, and that's pending FTC approval. Once that happens, we envision that becoming a new program which will allow you to take this benefit and walk into stores directly, which will probably be Staples branded stores. And finally, I want to add probably another benefit that's probably most important, which is our affiliation with Cornerstone Association Merchant Services, otherwise known as CAMS. You will receive free equipment and guaranteed lower credit card processing rates. But I think here there's two major areas to look at. One, I hope you know about something called EMV. EMV is EuroPay MasterCard Visa Standard. It's a new chip technology which is for credit cards, which effective October 1, 2015, any merchant taking a credit card must be able to accommodate this type of payment. You can still swipe it and not do it with the proper equipment, but if you do any hacking, any loss of identity, any financial loss, you will be responsible for handling, not your bank or credit card processor. So if you're not familiar with EMV, I would encourage you to immediately call CAMS. The number is 877-445-8195. Also, on a bigger aspect, its credit card processing really has moved into something called merchant services. So the programs are far beyond just credit card processing. You have point-of-sale terminals, branded loyalty programs, branded gift card programs, even an ability to take a capital loan paid back by a small percentage of each credit card swipe. So these are some of the money-saving programs. Now I will turn it over to my colleague Kate to talk to you about information in our events.
Thanks, Mike. Before I get started, I just wanted to remind you that Mike and I will be around after the presentation to answer any questions that you might have. So now just going to get into the valuable information that we produce. First up is New Jersey Business Magazine, which has a readership of 125,000 people, which makes it the largest subscriber-based periodical in the state. We also have New Jersey Business Today, which is our news service that has a readership of 20,000, and that is delivered to your inbox Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. and again on Saturday morning at 8 a.m., giving you bite-sized nuggets of information that link to expanded articles on issues that you need to be aware of happening in the state. We also have something called Fast Facts, which is a page on the website offering explanations of laws and regulations that you might not be aware of, but you probably should be. We also have something called issue networks, which I believe there are 8 of them, each of which focuses on a different issue. For example, health, the economy, the environment. These are e-bulletins that you can subscribe to. So if any of those issues are of interest to you, definitely let us know so that we can get you plugged into those. We also do member alerts on issues like paid sick leave, state and inheritance tax, and the out-of-network issue. These alerts come to you when something is so big that we feel like it's important enough for you to hear about it without you having to subscribe for the information. All members get these member alerts. And most of this information is member-only content. So as a member, you have access to all of this information that non-members don't necessarily have access to, which is really nice. It's excellent information for you to have. Moving on to events and programs, we just finished a market research study asking you, our members, what kind of events and programs you wanted. And as a result, we are expanding dramatically next year. We're actually going to double the number of events that we're going to do next year, which is really exciting. First up, I just want to talk briefly about seminars. These are education. They offer really serious information to help you run your business. A lot of small businesses are so busy running the day-to-day operations that they don't necessarily have time to learn how to grow or work smarter as opposed to harder. So topics range from HR laws to employee training. They're excellent places not only to get the education, but also to network with other members. Speaking of networking, we do member networking events that are strictly for getting to know each other. We do them about once a month, and these are places where we offer the opportunity for you to make a meaningful connection. So you don't just get a half an hour over breakfast before a program. You get a full hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, to really get to know as many people in the room as possible. We also have the Meet the Decision Makers events, which are excellent opportunities to talk to and get to know the decision makers, the legislators, the people who have been either elected or appointed to make decisions. And those decisions affect your day-to-day life and your business life, and the opportunities to get to know them and lobby them in person is really outstanding. We also offer webinars like the one that we're doing today. These webinars are free, and they offer lots of really good information to the membership on all kinds of stuff. Not only are you able to attend a webinar, so to speak, you're also invited to give a webinar. If you have information or advice that you think that the membership would find useful, let us know, and we will try to put that together for you. Made in New Jersey Day is one of our signature events. It highlights our vibrant manufacturing community. It's held at the State House, and we are the only organization in the state that is allowed to use that entire floor of the State House. It's a really nice way to not only network with manufacturers, but get to know the manufacturers in the state. Golf Day is a really fun networking opportunity in the summer, and we really always look forward to that. And then, of course, we have the Employer Legislative Committee meetings, which is our grassroots initiative. The ELCs bring in legislators and other appointed and elected officials to speak to local businesses at the county level, which offers you, the membership, an opportunity to, again, lobby directly. We have a really vibrant and robust government affairs department, but sometimes nothing beats shaking the hand of a legislator and telling them what you want. We also have 2 awards programs. The first is the Awards for Excellence, which is coming up in October. It recognizes achievements in environmental quality, business success, outstanding employer, and public service. And the second is the New Good Neighbor Awards, which recognizes the commercial and industrial development in your neighborhood. These are great opportunities to showcase all of the achievements that have been made in New Jersey, and we really look forward to both of them every single year. And now I'm going to turn it back over to Mike to talk a little bit about workforce development.
Thank you, Kate. NJB offers a number of employee training programs through many of our partnerships, including with the New Jersey County College Consortium for Workforce and Economic Development. Here's a few examples. Basic skills development. This offers free training for all your employees in 4 areas: communications, mathematics and measurement, computer applications, and English as a second language. These are offered at all New Jersey community colleges, but if you have enough participation at your office, they will certainly come to your office and set up those meetings there. Also, we want to provide a well-trained and skilled workforce for New Jersey businesses, and we have a number of initiatives on this avenue, one of which is our metal fabrication training program. This was developed in conjunction with our NJBIA manufacturing network. It's a 10 to 12-week training program where graduates get a college certificate of competency and take an NIMS exam. And it's offered only in select portions of the state, but what ends up coming out is a well-skilled employee ready to work and what our employers are asking for and need in those skill areas. Also, if you look there, was something called mobile manufacturer training. As I said, the metal fabrication training is only available right now in select portions of the state, but the New Jersey College Consortium, through a federal grant, purchased 2 tractor-trailer rolling labs that bring training to areas all across the state. Again, our goal is to prepare workers, our employers, and this is just one of the many initiatives that we have here. And finally, let me move on here to talk about called your champion in Trenton, which is really talking about NJBIA and our government affairs role. You're one of 20,000 companies, which is NJBIA, such tremendous size and strength, enabling us to represent, defend, and advocate for you and the entire business community in Trenton all across the state. So every member counts, including you. We have the largest, most skilled government affairs team with expertise in every business area. We are frequently known as the voice of business in New Jersey, and this is well deserved because we make things happen. Let me highlight a couple of examples. We helped defeat the Millionaire's Tax Initiative, which would have increased the tax rate on income over $1 million to 10.7%. This would have strongly hit many small businesses because they pay state tax rather than corporate tax. Another issue we've been working on well over a year plus, and it's still ongoing, is helping fight the spread of mandated paid sick leave all across the state. 70% of our member companies already provide sick leave to their employees, and this is the approach we like. We think it's up to each employer to provide the benefits they see best working for their company and for their employees, and not to be mandated by the state. And there are many ways for you to get involved in the government affairs area, from personal activity to just more passive or information. These include participating in a public policy committee, attending an NJBIA Meet the Decision Making event, subscribing to an issue network, reading NJBIA's many communications, such as our NJB magazine and our e-zine New Jersey Business Today, as well as checking out our Member Action Center on a regular basis. And for somebody who's worked for associations for many years, I will tell you, the more you put into your membership, the more you get out. That's purely up to you. You can participate with us more passively, that's fine, but the more you get involved, attend an event, go to a free networking event, get involved in some capacity, by osmosis, you'll meet people, you'll advance your business, you'll advance your knowledge, and you know what, you'll probably have fun doing it as well. Now I'm going to pass it back to my colleague, Kate, again.
All right, thank you, Mike. I'm going to just touch on our brand new initiative, the Bragg Badge. If you are interested, you can snag this logo and drop it into your website or newsletter or blog. You could put it on your office wall or a t-shirt if you'd like. We've never had the opportunity before, and we've had some interest, and so we thought we'd put this together for you. If you're a proud member and you want to shout about it, we want to help you shout. So we're excited to have you on board. We're excited to grow with you, and if you'd like to snag the Bragg Badge, you should absolutely feel free. And I think that wraps things up. I'm going to throw it back over to Peter to take some questions, I think.
Thank you, Kate. And just a reminder for those who are on with us, if you have any questions, we would be happy to answer them. It could be almost anything. If there is a specific issue that you're dealing with and we're unable to help you now, we will definitely get back in touch with you. So I wouldn't be concerned about that, because we would simply, we would have your email as a participant, and we would be able to answer your question in that way. Before we get to questions, I wanted to touch a little bit, expand a little bit on what Mike was talking about regarding our government affairs team, and what we have found, and Kate, I believe, referenced some of the research we've done and some of what we have attempted to do in providing a better membership experience, is sort of connecting the dots for you a little bit and explaining why what we do on a policy level in Trenton, while you may feel a bit disconnected or may feel that some of what we do in the government affairs and policy area doesn't really affect you, it actually affects you quite a bit. Mike gave you a few examples, but by way of explanation, it's important to realize that there are more than 8,000 bills that are introduced in any legislative session. There are about 40% of those, or 3,000, that we either develop positions on, follow, or aggressively talk to legislators in the governor's office about. And the reason for that is that although New Jersey is a great place to live and a great place to do business, as we know, it also has issues that we must deal with, which are basically high taxes and government mandates. One example of that would be the paid sick leave legislation that that Mike referenced, and very many of the bills that come up either would impose new regulations on you that would directly affect you, could increase your taxes, which would definitely impact you, or depending on the industry you're in, whether it is impacted by the environmental permitting process, whether it's affected by other rules and regulations that may be part of any legislation. There are tons and tons of things that, while it may seem as if it's 100 miles away and doesn't impact you, even if you've got the smallest of businesses, in fact, the opposite is true. Most of the time, it does affect you quite a bit. So I would urge you to at least try to become engaged on that level. And that doesn't necessarily mean coming to a policy committee meeting or joining a committee or reading all of the literature, but it really is important to stay up to date on what we're doing in that regard. And pretty soon, sometime in the next 30 days, we are rolling out a new platform called Engage. It's a great name, which is aimed at developing a more grassroots connection between our membership and policy, and its aim is getting you personally more involved in what we're doing down here. So take a look at our materials. If you have any questions, get back in touch with us. We'll answer your questions, and I would urge you to take an interest as much as you're able to, given your busy schedules and whatever policy is occurring down here. I'd like to also ask a question of Kate. We have a couple of, well, three things I wanted to touch on. We had the first event yesterday in our infrastructure series. So it's sort of a mixture of sort of policy and working on an issue that impacts our members. So I wanted to start with that. Then we have a great event coming up on September 25th, which is our first Women Business Leaders Forum. We have over 230 people signed up already. We would urge you to think about attending that. And lastly, we also have a small business series coming up. The first event is October 23rd, which would involve Brian Smith, the founder of UGG Boots. It would just basically giving you tips on being successful. He'll be speaking, he'll be meeting with our members that are there, and that's October 23rd in East Brunswick. So, Kate, I probably have answered all the questions. I hope I've left you with enough to say, but if you could talk about each of those things and why they're important and what we hope to give our members through those events.
Absolutely. Thank you, Peter. The MDM series is one that many of our members know very well. We're putting a spin on it this fall, though, and introducing the topic of infrastructure into each one. And infrastructure is something that we don't necessarily see all that often, even though it is very much the concrete that we walk on and the water pipes that are delivering fresh water to our homes every day. The infrastructure in New Jersey is not doing well, and we don't like to talk about it because when it comes up, the thing that we automatically think of is higher taxes to help repair it and fix it. But the problem is the conversation still does need to happen, and so we're injecting the conversation into the MDM series this fall, and yesterday was the very first in that series. We had the DEP Commissioner, Bob Martin, in and a panel of speakers to talk about the issue, and it was an excellent conversation. It was a really nice way to kick off the fall and that conversation, so we're very much looking forward to that as it moves on. We are having the Department of Banking and Insurance Commissioner, who is brand new, on October 2nd. So if you're free that day, we are going to be at Forestgate. I would highly recommend that you join us so that you can be part of the conversation as we move forward. The second event that you talked about, Peter, the Business Leader Forum, is really exciting. So many women in the state of New Jersey are interested in moving into the C-suite and getting onto boards of directors, and we talk about wanting to move women into those positions, but we're not necessarily giving them the skill set that they need to move up that ladder. And so the conference is really going to be focused on what we need to change, what we need to do better in order to help make that happen. And again, as you mentioned, we have right now roughly about 250 people scheduled to attend that event with some excellent speakers. So if you have any interest, anyone who's listening to this, definitely let us know. It's going to be an excellent program that day. And then, of course, the founder of UGG Boots, Brian Smith, will be with us on October 23rd at the PNC building at Exit 9 off the Turnpike. That event will start at 8 a.m. with networking in the lobby, and then he will do a presentation very much focused on small businesses and how to manage chaos in your day-to-day lives. It's not easy to be a small business owner, and so we recognize that. Brian Smith is excited to be with us. He actually, I think, will also be bringing a book, which is exciting, and so we'll actually get to hear from him and network with him, and then, of course, network with each other. That is the kickoff to our Small Business Quarterly series, which will meet again in January. We recognize that in the past we haven't done a good job of getting our small businesses together to talk to each other and share problems and help each other. So in January, we're going to be starting this thing called Small Business Quarterly, where one component will be networking, one component will be education, and one component will be problem solving with each other. So that is starting in January, and we're kicking things off in October with Brian Smith on the 23rd. We're really excited. And I think, I think that room caps out at about 75. So if you're interested in that, let us know right away because the space is filling up. So that's all I've got. Peter, I'm going to hand it back to you for another question.
I have a question from William Barr, and I'm not exactly sure what Mr. Barr is trying to touch on. Well, I can read the question. We will, if we're unable to help you now, which I don't suspect we will be, we will definitely get back to you later. The question is, can you help me find the right person at Raritan Valley Community College to get some accounting and marketing help, such as internship, etc. So I'm not quite sure if you're looking to hire interns or if you're looking for an internship. So if you are still listening, if you can sort of follow up and clarify what information you're asking for, and we'd be happy to help you. We also have another question. This is really important for our members. If you haven't thought about it, this is something you absolutely have to think about moving forward, and that's a nationwide change in credit card processing that would completely change the way in which you process credit cards, and it is a cybersecurity issue, attempting to prevent identity theft, and also changes the rules of liability for which you could leave yourself wide open if you don't adopt the changes that you need to change. So, Mike, I would turn it over to you and just ask you to explain for our members what the issue is, why they should be concerned, what we recommend, and also I know we're doing a webinar on this October 5th, if you could talk a little bit about that as well.
Thank you, Peter. Sure. Again, it's good. The standard is called EMV, Europay, MasterCard, Visa, because it started in Europe. In fact, the U.S. and North America here is the last ones to accommodate the standard. But we've all heard of the issues with Target and other areas where there's data leaks, and these are very large companies which certainly have many layers of security, and it got past them. So I don't know about most of you. I'm sure if you've gotten a credit card reissued every year, you'll see it has a little chip in it. It actually, you can feel it almost looks like a little diamond. That's really the chip that's in there. That's the idea. That's going to get changing the whole technology to EMV. So when a credit card is no longer swiped, it's actually supposed to be inserted as if you're going into a hotel room key card. So once it's in there, and that's how it records that. And that's the safe technology that will protect you, will protect the customer, and will protect the system much, much greater. So your current system that you have, you can still take that credit card, you can still swipe it without using the technology, like I said, which is like putting into a hotel key card. But again, any data leak, any leak of information, any hacking, it's going to be your responsibility. So anybody who takes credit cards, if you're a credit card merchant at all, you need to have the equipment to do this. If you do not have this, we encourage you to call CAMS, again, Cornerstone Association Merchant Solutions, which has for over 10 years been our provider and partner in the service, and they're outstanding. They will provide you with free equipment, no charge. Other companies will charge you for it and factor in over the length of the contract. You'll get that for free. You are also guaranteed to get lower processing rates, credit card processing rates, than you currently have. Right there alone, it's worth it. So I'd certainly get involved with that and make that call about that right away. And again, that phone number is 877-445-8195, which will be reinforced in the follow-up you'll get here. And again, on top of that, on top of the EMV and that standards is the fact that you move it from credit card processing to merchant solutions. People spend more money with a credit card in their hands. You know, you can brand your programs. You can have a affinity programs. There's all kinds of things you can do. You can use it as a marketing tool, and that's what CAMS is about, to let them help you. And again, subject to the number of amount of credit card swipes you do, but you can take a short-term capital loan and pay it off by a very, very tiny percentage of every credit card swipe over a few months. So it's a very easy way to get a capital loan, which banks are very hard sometimes to get these days based on all the things you have to prove, and this is working on a working, tangible asset. So again, EMV is very important. October 1st is the deadline. Something should be done. Thank you, Peter.
I'd like to talk a little bit more about the Member Action Center as well, because this is probably our #1 initiative moving forward. We're all very excited about it, and Mike talked a little bit about it, but I wanted to come back to it a little bit because everything we do is for our members, and up until a short while ago, it's sort of you could go to our website and find out some information, or if you had any questions, you would tend to call in, and things would go toward the person who would be responsible for that. But it sort of happened in kind of a less than organic way, and it was not planned as well as it should have been. So what we have done is created a Member Action Center that will be up and running in the 4th quarter. That will take some of what we already do, which is information on the website that would generally be found under business resources, generally speaking, and that would be information that you would have access to We will be adding to that information as we go forward to provide more and more and more information. And I think Mike touched on the legal referral services and other services we're looking to set up. We are also completely redoing our website in order to provide you with a much better consumer experience than you may have had to this point. And part of that will be the creation of a member directory, which would enable you to contact your members, find out who the other members are, and to perhaps on a business-to-business basis do business with other NJBIA members. And as part of that, not necessarily part of the website redesign and upgrade, but on into the future, we'll also be developing and setting up a B2B marketplace. It would make it much easier for you to create those relationships that have been difficult perhaps for you to create with other members of the association. So Mike, I'd like to, I guess, have you focus on, and I know this is now being set up, but the sort of one-stop shopping, make a phone call, get it answered. If you could expand on that aspect of the Member Action Center, because personally I think that's probably the most exciting thing, and that's part of the entire project.
Sure, thank you, Peter. Yes, many of our members come to us primarily, first and foremost, maybe their connection is because in order to get NGM insurance, they had to be a member. So they know us more first and foremost through that benefit, and then the rest of the benefits, somehow they can't assimilate them or understand them or readily embrace them in a reasonable way. And so I think I think what happens at the Member Action Center is our way to put this all in one package so it's easy for you to see. And like I said, it's a work in process, so it's just starting. But you'll be able to see what's there for you, all the different opportunities you have. And so part of it, again, will be about info questions that you have. We can help you with any type of question you have, and we will get you an answer or we refer you to the proper one. We also have all our benefit programs, such as what I described, the Office Max, the credit card processing, the UPS program. You can easily sign up from there. But also, we're going to be expanding upon that, too. With our HR program, we're going to be able, and eventually down the line, we're going to liaison with attorneys to be able to refer you to an attorney for a short consultation. And again, that's coming somewhere the next year. But those kind of things, the same thing, working with an expert, for example, in taxes and finance to give you a short consultation for free to help you with more professional level experience. So the whole Member Action Center is our attempt to make sure you understand what we're about and for you to choose. Not everything's there for you. You can pick or choose. Think of it like a menu on a restaurant. You can pick what you want. You can pick as much as you want, but there's something for everybody. And the other thing one-on-ones, in addition to giving you answers, as an employer in New Jersey, you have so many laws and regulations you have to follow. We will keep you up to date on that. You know, ignorance is not an excuse for not doing something. So follow us. We'll give you that information. But also, we want to help you make business. We want to help you develop what we want to give you an ROI. Just think of that business-to-business marketplace. You know, you're paying dues. The average dues here is $220 if you're under 25 members. That's $18 a month to have a program, which will go to thousands of other members potentially looking for you. That'll be a progressive and outgoing marketing program. Some people see dues as a little more of, oh, I'm paying for this, this, and this. What is my return? We certainly want to make an ROI for you, and we think the business-to-business directory is certainly one way to do that, but also getting involved, networking, interacting with members. That you can't get these things done by osmosis. You have to meet people, and you'll build your business development from there as well.
We have another question from Tim Filburn, who would like to know, can we assist with or suggest appropriate outlets for advertising job opportunities within a small business? So if I understand this correctly, you are looking to hire someone who can provide you with advertising assistance. So if that's not what it is, if you can just write us back and clarify that. But the one thing I would say, just from our perspective, aside from the typical ways in which you might advertise, which would be the usual job boards such as Monster, for example, and Career Builder, if you wanted to use us, I could recommend a few things. Number one, we have a LinkedIn group. So if you go to LinkedIn and join our group, you can feel free to post whatever you like, and that's usually a good place, and it kind of fits with the mission of, I mean, LinkedIn is kind of a business-to-business platform that links companies when you're looking to fill positions. So I would go to our LinkedIn page and write a comment or just drop a note in there indicating what you're looking for, and that would be public, and anyone who might be able to help you would be able to do so. Also, and this is getting far into the future, and I hope those are helpful in the interim. And also, you can advertise on LinkedIn, quite frankly, beyond simply listing it on our page. You could certainly write a comment on Facebook. You could certainly use the other avenues open to you, but as part of the Member Action Center going forward, we had always envisioned a platform which would enable this type of interactivity where we'd be the conduit between members who are looking to fill positions, and that will be part of our Member Action Center going forward. And also, just so you know, again, looking into the future, I wish I had more information for you now, but we are also looking at a member program, which is kind of an offshoot of that, that would definitely provide you with the type of assistance to hire competent and professional individuals for those types of opportunities at your company. Okay, so I guess we hit it right with Tim because he thanked us for the suggestion. So if there's anything else, if you have any other questions, please let us know. We do have a couple of, and I just wanted to touch on this briefly because Kate, you touched on webinars. We find, and you're obviously on with us today during a webinar, but we find that this is a great way to communicate with our members on a more personal basis, perhaps, even though you can't see us because we haven't turned the webcam on because no one wants to be visible on the screen, but certainly we hope you've gotten a lot out of this. But we have a number of webinars coming up that you may be interested in. There's a couple I'd like to highlight. Principally at the third week of October, we don't have a specific date nailed down, but we're going to be promoting this. But there was a recent state Supreme Court decision that expanded the state whistleblower law, which is a rather complicated decision when you read through it, but this is something that could specifically impact our members to the point where they may face greater liability from whistleblower lawsuits, or may it may in fact change the way they prescribe job responsibilities and also deal with certain types of information internally, so it can't be the subject of a whistleblower lawsuit. So that's coming up the third week of October. We would urge you to listen to that. And we also have a webinar coming up in mid-October with NJM on workers' compensation, which is always one of our hot-button issues. There's a bill in the legislature that's sort of close to the governor's desk now that would increase your workers' compensation costs. We've been very successful in preventing that from happening, but it's one step away from the governor's office at the moment. So NJM is going to come in and talk about what you need to know about workers' comp to make sure that you have everything you need, all your ducks in a row for that. So let's again go back and let's talk a little bit about we're trying to do a better job at creating relationships with our members and also bringing new members in, which brings you to us today. So Mike, why don't you talk a little bit about some of our outreach, some of the things, the exciting things that you've been doing that would grow the organization and would enable us to be much stronger than we are now for our members.
Thank you, Peter. Well, in addition to adding the new initiatives, we certainly reach out to a number of entities. We segment out, and we have relationships with a number of affiliate organizations, and so we reach out to them for membership. We also follow a number of lists and award winners that we hear about affiliated all across the state. And from those, we always make it a point to congratulate members who make the list. But the ones who are not those lists, we make a personal outreach to them, congratulating them and encouraging them to join. And I think in general, the other thing you're gonna find out is that now that myself and we have a colleague we hired for membership recruitment, his name is Evan Schuler, you're gonna see myself and Evan out on the road, probably 50% of the time making personal visits all across the state to non-members, giving presentations in front of non-member groups. This is a change and a new approach, and I'm certainly looking forward to it. And so if you know of any members or potential members, just let us know. We're more than happy to reach them, and if somebody joins, we'll certainly recognize you in a way that's appropriate as well.
And we have a clarification from William Barr on his question, which I'd be happy to answer. He says, to help clarify, do you have programs to help small businesses find interns? I would answer that question almost in the same way that I answered Tim's question a minute ago, because you could seek out interns in a wide variety of ways, and one of which, particularly given the age of interns you're looking for, would be on social media. So go to LinkedIn, go to our Facebook page. If you don't have social media accounts, which I'll get back to another point on that in a second, you should create them. So you should have a Facebook page. You should have a company Twitter account. You should have a company LinkedIn account, because those are three things that help you communicate with potential clients, potential employees, or other potential business opportunities in your community. So as far as interns go, I would do two things. I would recommend that you put out a call for potential interns on all your social media channels, because we really don't. We have people who handle interns for us here, so we often hire college interns over the summer. In fact, we have a couple with us right now, and we have a program for us. We don't necessarily have a program externally. So actually, maybe something. Mike's writing that down right now, so I think that that'll be something we take a look at. The other thing I wanted to recommend is, I don't know where you're located, Mr. Barr, but you may want to look to some of the colleges in your community. So, for example, if you're in Mercer County, you're going to want to look to the College of New Jersey, which we have brought in interns from. If you're in Middlesex, you may want to look to Rutgers. If you're in North Jersey, you may want to look to, let's say, Montclair State, William Patterson, whatever the local colleges you may have. That is typically a very fertile area to find interns, and whether you go to the business school or they have entrepreneurship programs or whatever it may be, you may want to go to the department that closely mirrors what you're looking for. Well, with that, I would like to bring things to a close this afternoon. That's about all the time we have. We're coming up on lunch hour. So just a few housekeeping things for the remainder of our webinar. Don't forget, all of you will be receiving a recording of today's webinar via email, and you will also be getting the PowerPoint presentation via email as well if you have not downloaded what we have on the screen for you. Lastly, we will be sending you a survey that we hope you'll fill out so we can understand how best to provide you the important information in a webinar format in the future. We can always do better, and we really, really like your input, particularly on the surveys that we send out at the conclusion of these presentations. Our next webinar will take place tomorrow, Thursday, September 17th at 11 o'clock, with the Partnership for a Drug-Free New Jersey, which will be providing information about how to best deal with substance abuse workplace issues. I would like to thank our producer, Vinny Civitello, who is an integral part of our webinar team, for pulling all this together. So again, for Mike Corwin and Kate Conroy, this is Peter Peretzman